Hey everyone, this is Raymond Wood at the Raymond Wood podcast. We are super excited not only to be back with another amazing episode, but also our studio where we do our podcast, thanks to Nick and Clear Shot Media. They've had a whole revamp, curtains in, new chairs, so it looks really nice. Now we're super excited to have Luis Ruiz with us from the Ruiz Academy. How are you, Luis?
Fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Now we're going to get straight into it. Can you give us a little bit of a background, where you're from, where you grew up and how you first got involved with football?
Yeah, but I'm originally from Costa Rica. My mom is from Costa Rica. My dad is a mix, so he's half Spanish, half Indian. So wow. I have three backgrounds on me, probably a little bit, on my mom's background as well, a little bit of Spanish as well. So I have a lot of the Spanish influence, even that I grew up in Costa Rica until I was 16. And then I moved, I was in United States for a while. Then I went to Switzerland, Norway. And I have been here in Australia for 10 years. But in between, I've been living in Spain, in Holland. So, yeah. A little bit of traveling, yes. You've
travelled around. Now, I've obviously known you for about 15 years since I first come to Australia. And I've seen some of the amazing work you were doing with your academy. And I'll be honest, 20 years ago, when I used to see anything that was South American, I used to always go, it's rubbish. It's a waste of time. But what does us English know? We don't know a lot. And I really realised that when I went through my UEFA badges and I'd done my UEFA B and UEFA A and pro licence, I started to realise how important South American football is and is now completely moulded football, even down to things like juggling or doing keepy-uppies, being able to control, and it creates agility, balance and coordination. It's so, so important. And we talk about futsal, small-sided games, and we look at some of the best English players we've got now, the likes of Jude Bellingham, Phil Foden, and they've all been developed on those premises of South American football. So I want to thank you because I've seen some of the amazing work you've been doing over the years, and I don't think some people realise in Australia how many good coaches there is out there and some of the good work that you're doing.
I really appreciated that, you have the opinion about my work, about myself as well. And as you say, I believe the European football, England, Spain, Germany, France, Italy, look, the level is huge, and the way that they work up there is so professional, everything, absolutely everything. I think with South America, and I include myself in that, is because we come from a really, sometimes poor countries or poor situations, we develop something of always find solutions for difficult moments. Yeah. It's like you have to be creative. You have to make something from nothing. Yeah. Give you an example. With me, at the age of 10 or 11, we were very poor. Man, there was times that I needed to go with one of my brothers and waiting outside to a restaurant for them to throw out the food, yeah. And for us to go and open the plastic bags and see what is we can still take it home and eat it. Yeah. So, and that's probably where my whole decided to play football. It comes from, from those situations, and it teach you, if you want something, you want to work really hard. And I think that's in some way it's difficult, but it's a beautiful part of South America, and that's what the players, they do have, Yeah. They do have maybe in Europe, in United States, even in Australia, those players haven't go through all that.
That mentality.
Yes, yeah. Yes, yeah.
And that's the thing, when you're on the football pitch, like we seen it yesterday with Argentina and Colombia, in the last couple of minutes of that game, you could see those players just worked out a way to get a win, and Argentina had done that. Yeah. And you question sometimes, would some of those European players be able to do that? And I think potentially that's what was missing a little bit maybe from England in the final against Spain. Yes. Where I think the Spanish football's definitely got a huge South American influence in there. Yes. And vice versa. But just having that willingness to go above and beyond, and when times seem really hard, just to dig it out and just to go that extra metre can be the difference in winning a Coppa or winning a Euros. Yeah. It's exactly. Crazy. From a coaching point of view, obviously you've got Ruiz Academy and you guys are based in Australia, and we'll talk about, you've actually got setups around the world as well, not just in Australia, but from a coaching philosophy, what is your coaching philosophy and how do you like players to be developed?
Yeah, so very interested the last 5-6 years, Raymond, because since last time I saw you, that we were doing some work together. After that, I didn't take a break, but actually what I did is I went to Europe, I went to study, I went to do my UEFA license. I was in Spain and learning, from Europeans, but very higher level.
Yeah.
And then I got to United States, I went to Costa Rica. So I was actually going around and see different, how every country is developing the players, even in Holland as well. It's huge, with the Ajax and stuff like that. And then we started to create a philosophy, but it's not, I'm not going to say that it's my philosophy. I just taking the best of each country to trying to put something together and help the players. Very important thing is to understand the Australian culture that is very different, the European, South American. So I think that's the biggest stage for us as an academy, is that we treat every player as an individual, but look at it as well at what the backgrounds. The culture backgrounds. Yeah. You cannot talk the same day you talk to Australian kids, one from England or one from South America. And Australia has been growing in culture, and we get to coach players right now from Colombia that the parents just moved here. We get to coach players from England. We get to coach players from Australia as well. So we have to learn we get the best out of those players as well, understanding that culture background. A philosophy is to say it will be first thing that we focus on. It will be football brain, that we were having this conversation like 2-3 weeks ago when you gave me your book. And then it was a good conversation we have in there, and it's that, it's like how much you understand football, how much gains you see as well.
It's funny you say that. Like we spoke about it the other week, and it's more about developing the player off the pitch rather than on it. But I think there's two areas to that we drew out when I worked in the Premier League. It's how you develop a young man or a young lady off the pitch to be good values and a good attitude. But also I think the other aspect as well, which doesn't get spoken about, is developing players in the mindset and the brain off the pitch. And we spoke about Thierry Henry and his comments, the ex-France and Arsenal legend, about how he spoke about the Spanish, and they don't look to get a player for Barcelona or Real Madrid based on physical or technical aspects. It's about decisions they're making in the brain. Are they scanning? Are they looking for creative passes? Are they always looking for a forward pass? And that's exactly what we're looking for. And that's what we've got to try and develop in the kids in Australia. I think, as you've just touched on, though, we're so lucky. I think there's more South American influence coming into Australia. I couldn't believe how many Colombians live in Brisbane. Like, did you see the bar in Brisbane yesterday? There was over 1,000 Colombians in one bar watching them. And I think the more we integrate the mix of different cultures and backgrounds into our Australian cultures, I think in the next 20, 30 years, we could have some of the best players on the planet coming out of Australia. It's exciting.
100%. And very important, it will be, as I say, is to have that European influence as well. Like, to be able to give the opportunity to these players growing up to go to Europe and see the level of the players there. They see the way they work and the how many games they're playing, how many times a week they're training. And to be able to work with coaches that has been dedicated the whole life of football. It's not, that's super important, and that's why your program, my program, I believe is very important for the Australian football community,
That's one of the big things we wanted to touch on with you as well, was about, the benefit of coaches like me and you and other coaches around Australia. You see, there's not many coaches, unfortunately, who don't travel outside of Australia. And I get a lot of people saying to me, like, Ray, where are you now? Every time we look, you're in London, you're in Spain, you're in the USA. The reason we do that is because I want to keep upskilling myself, because I don't want to be giving advice to players and families and it's not based on anything other than guesswork. I want to make sure I've got to be the utmost best. I've spoke about it on previous podcasts, like being English, I used to love a beer, but I gave up drinking because I knew I wasn't giving the best to my players and to our families. So I said, I'm not drinking alcohol no more. I'm going to stop and I want to give the best I can give.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I've just been very fortunate to accept a position with UEFA as well, working with them on an ambassadorial program and also being a player agent, because I want to expose myself to more learning and be around people who I can learn from. Now, going back to you, I seen you for the past 3-4 years. I felt like every time I looked, you were somewhere different. You were in Spain, you're in South America. So can you tell me a little bit of a background where you've been over the past couple of years? And I know we've got now links in with Real Madrid, I believe. So if you can talk to us a bit about that as well.
Yeah. Well, getting back a little bit of what you were mentioning, Ray, you and I, we have been in the business for years. But we really, one of the message that we always trying to do to people as well is that, yes, it's a business. Yeah, we might make some money and stuff because it's a business. But what we're trying to do is trying to help.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. We're trying to find a way to help players. Now, football, 20, 30 years ago, it was very different. And yes, it was very low cost because we did not have access to everything we have access right now. So, for example, I went and studied strength conditioning, focus on football. Yeah. So now I have my diploma in strength conditioning, focus on football. How important is that for players right now? So to run those kind of sessions, of course, it will have some cost, for parents to be able to for the kids to have that opportunity to train in there. But the most important thing is, as we say, is the higher level coach you will have. On that way, the cost of football, it will increase on that. As I say, even myself, the coach that I used to have, it was a coach back home. He never have any license. He did what he could to help me to become a professional football player. And I'm so grateful. But thinking back then, it wouldn't been a lot if he had that knowledge, had to have a little bit more access. Exactly. Yeah. He would have been able to even to help more players or even to help me to get a higher level. Yeah. And that's right now what we're trying to do, and what I'm trying to do as well is not being learn from him, but trying to learn as well. What do I need to improve myself as a coach? Yeah. And that's why the last 5 years, I have been going 3-4 times back and forward from Europe, back to Australia, to South America, back to Australia, to United States, back to Australia, to trying to, pretty much I always say, try to steal coaches' brains. Yeah. And even right now, every time I sit down with you, I just sit down there and trying to see what I can steal from you, from your brain, because it's the same. You have been traveling a lot. You have a lot of knowledge about football. Okay, what I can learn from you. And I think that's something very important. And I think because Australia is so isolated and so far away, a lot of the coaches here, even they came 10, 20 years ago, they came here with great ideas, but football has grown a lot of, so much information. And when you just stuck here and you don't go back to Europe and update it yourself, getting so more knowledge of how football is playing right now, it's hard, to be able to help players. And I think that's why we have dedicating the last 5, 6, 7 years, myself, I've seen you as well, but myself with my academies to go over there trying to bring some good information and to be able to help these players. About Real Madrid, we started with the first meeting a year and a half ago with Fundación Real Madrid. They work directly with Real Madrid as well. So we started working with them. Just in December, we got to sign a contract with Fundación Real Madrid, but give the opportunity to us to be able to take players to have the experience to be able to be coached by some of the coaches from Real Madrid, Pablo Bebas. That is the venue where there's Madrid Sports City, with all the teams from Real Madrid training there, even the first team, Ancelotti, all the players from Real Madrid, they do their training sessions there. There's a massive, huge sports city, they have like 10 fields. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be giving that opportunity to some kids, some parents to have the experience of, what it is to be training by coaches from Real Madrid, at the Real Madrid venue. But at the same time, we do have some good contacts as well with other private academies in Spain, some other soccer clubs, that when we take kids over there, we will be able to give an opportunity sometimes, you know, to be able to have an extra training session or something like that, you know.
It doesn't matter what level the player's at, you've got an opportunity for each player to drop in, whether it be Real Madrid, but also we both understand not every player is ready for Real Madrid. It might 100%. Be a third division team or a fourth division team. And this is one of the things that we say with our programme. We don't say we're going to place you at Manchester City or Liverpool. We might, and we have placed players at Liverpool. But what we do say is sometimes just getting into Europe's better than not being there. Yep. And once you're in the system, and you can work your way up. And that's what a lot of parents don't see and don't get. And it was really interesting that you touched on, like, it's a business and we do have to charge money. Quite simply, it's like we both go out and other academies and coaches go out there. We upskill ourselves. We're here to upskill ourselves for the kids. With all due respect, you're the same. I looked at the system in Australia and 99.9% of the time, parents are paying $3,000-4,000 a year and get coached by a volunteer coach. Yeah. And that's the problem. And the problem is, it's not the club's problem. I don't even believe it's the FFA's. I think it's the success of football. Yeah. It's getting that big. So I looked at it and went, right, okay, what's the complaints department in Australia? And that's it, in a nutshell. People are paying $3,000 to $4,000 a year and they're getting coached by volunteer coaches and they want more than that. So I thought, well, if we could do something similar, but again, it doesn't always please everyone because we put free events on for objective testing. We give free feedback reports worth $2,500. We run a professional player pathway, which is an event that costs us anything up to $100,000 to run. And we don't ask anyone for many financial commitments, and people can come for free and go home. Yeah. But people still say, it's a scam. I knew it was a scam. And it's like, do you not actually see what you're saying? We've just give you and shared with you the secrets of how to make it as a pro for free. Yeah. And because at the end, we've given you an opportunity to join the program if you want to. Yeah. But as you know, you can't always make everyone happy, and it's
no, hard. I can see, I started seeing what you have been doing and the opportunity to you giving to these young players and all the work that you guys are putting and the money, the effort, everything is unbelievable, you know, to be able to help these players to have that opportunity, as you say, first for free to come and get a test, you know, and then the other thing is that even to have the opportunity to, if you stand up and we can see that, you know, you're a high level player given a scholarship, because I know that you guys have been helping some players with scholarships and stuff like that. So, and for the other players to be able to, okay, look, now I don't feel lost. Yeah. I feel like, okay, there is a pathway up there that I didn't know that doesn't exist much here in Australia, because a lot of the players, a lot of the parents get lost. Yeah. We get a lot of parents and kids, they stop playing football, or the parents, they ended up saying, oh my God, I ended up spending so much money this year on football, and I feel like we don't know what is next year or the year after. We just going year by year, but we don't really see light at the end of the tunnel. And with you guys and some of the programs as well, like with us, we always say, okay, look, this is like going to university. Yeah. I always say to the parents, I say, this is, and the players, this is like going to university. You're not going to get your degree on the first year. No. Right? So you need to go year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. You need to stick to the plan and you need to trust the process. Yeah. So you find a good coach, they will mentor you. Yeah. You find a good program, they will guide you and show you and find you options. Something really important in football, and I'm telling you, even myself when I was my football career, was contacts. Yeah. When you have around the right people, they will be able to connect you with clubs, with coaches. It's more important than if you're a superstar, because I'm telling you, I have been to Brazil, I have been to Argentina, and I believe me, there are so many amazing players there, better than Neymar, even some could be better than Messi, but they have not those contacts, those opportunities, and someone to guide them. Yeah. So I would say to them, you can't burn the process. Like, you can't jump up. No. You can't cheat, You have to go year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. And when you get to year 5, okay, are you ready? Do you have the contacts? Have you, everything that you have been working for the past 4 years, can you deliver it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why we are here,
Yeah.
Me probably more a little bit on the field and in their mind, and you with this access to this amazing program where, hey, Luis, which club do you need a contact? Chelsea, yes, I got it.
Yeah.
Paris Saint-Germain, yes, I have it. Liverpool, I have it. In Spain, yes, I have it.
Yeah. And that's the thing as well. It's funny, you just touched on it's preparation. It's preparing players. Like, we've had people come in our rooms. We had it was a bad example of what people are doing, but there was a family who got charged $30,000 to send their son for a month to Europe on trials. 30 days later, he comes home and he's like, no opportunity, didn't sign with anyone. But the big thing that gets to me is they signed up for this program and paid for it, and the parents don't know. They trust because they see, oh, it must be good because it's $30,000. And what blows my mind is 99.9% of people who open up the opportunity, they don't prepare them. They don't have a pathway. They don't have any benchmarks or objectives data to say, Lewis, you're here, and to get you good enough for Europe, we've got to get you there. And that's exactly what our program does, the professional player pathway. It does that. We're there like the icing on the cake. So you guys are on the ground doing all the hard work in my eyes. You do all the hard work. You're baking the cake, you're putting the cream in the middle, you're putting the jam in there. We just come along and sprinkle the connection at the top.
Yep.
But we also grab the data and we say to our players, if you're not ready, you're not going. You're not going on any trials. And this is the thing that really blows my mind, that parents are paying all this money for these so-called opportunities. And I always say to them, so how much preparation did you do on the run-up? What did you do? What data did you get? What videos, what match analysis did you get? What clips? And they're like, we didn't get any of that. And unfortunately, the parents don't know because they just trust in these people. So this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to raise the benchmark that high. So if people don't come up to our level, well, everyone's going to come to us. And that's why we work with people like yourself. I think we've spoke about it before. My youngest daughter, Paloma, she's at the football academy with Jake and TK. I wouldn't send her anywhere unless it was phenomenal. And again, they do a very similar setup to you. The work they do with the kids is phenomenal. And everyone's like, why are you like sending your daughter there? Why do you talk to Luis Ruiz? Because it should be about one thing. And we spoke about this last week. If it's not about the players and it's not about the kids, why are we doing it?
Yeah.
And if we can't all get on with each other and can't all talk to each other and all understand there's enough work for everyone, and as long as we're all doing it for the right intentions, which is the players, then everything's fine. And a lot of people still don't get that. They go out for the money, they go out for other reasons, and they don't have the intention that this should be about us sharing our stories, because you're the same as me. I wish I had a coach who was as good as me when I was younger, because I would have made it as a Premier League football player. If I had a coach like someone who knew what I knew, or someone like what you knew, we would have had a better chance of making it as a pro. And that's what we're trying to do.
100%. 100%. It's like I look at it, football now, and I look at it when I started playing, and I just said, if I had the same coaches that I have when I was trying to make as a professional, if I had those coaches, if I tried to play football professional right now, and all I have were the same coaches that I have at that time, it would have been really difficult to make it, because right now, as I say, science has improved. You see they're athletes.
Yeah.
At that time,
sprinters now. It's
mate,
crazy.
At that time, is you have talent and you're technical good. Tactical, it was a lot, understanding football. Yes, that was really good. But how football have developed until now, man, they're athletes.
Yeah.
And everything, the tests that they do. You were telling me the other day about you guys do about the nutrition tests and what the players can eat and what you shouldn't be eating and all those kind of things.
Yeah.
And the football of today, it really matters.
Yeah. And
it makes so much difference.
The 1%.
Exactly. And that's why I'll go back again to that point where that costs, they have a price, to be able to take care of a player, and the nutrition psychologist, the fitness.
Costs a lot of money. Strength
everything.
And conditioning. Yeah.
Strength and conditioning as well.
We could chat for hours and hours on this, but we're going to go to our first break and we'll be back with you in a few minutes. But thank you for joining us. Would you one day like to be a professional football player? Would you like to be part of our pro player pathway? What is the pro player pathway? It's an opportunity for all Australian football players aged between 10 and 23 who want to join us to become the next professional football player. On the pro player pathway, you get to join me and my team free of charge to an event all around Australia. When you join me, we're going to teach you the secrets of football in Europe. And one day, maybe, you could be gracing the Champions League final. Guys, over the next 12 months, we're going to be coming around all the major cities in Australia. And when we come around all the major cities, we're going to be running our free events everywhere we go. So guys, what have you got to lose? Nothing. It's a free event. It's for boys and girls aged 10 to 23. And I'm going to teach you the secrets of becoming a top European football player. Oh, and one final thing. We're going to be giving away 20 scholarships to join me on this program of a lifetime. Hi everyone, this is Raymond Woods. We're back with Luis Ruiz and we had a very interesting first part and section. Now we're going to get into a couple of other bits. So this is always a tricky one. And I always say that I'm not saying this to have a go at Australia or football. We're all here to try and support and help it. But challenges in Australia. What's one of the big problems you see, Luis, that is the major challenge in Australia? And how do we fix it?
Oof. There are a few. I think for me, the culture, I guess not the Australian culture. I think Australian culture, they all really want to improve.
Yeah,
they want to improve. The problem, it could be the information that we are giving to those players, to those parents. I think we need more coaches.
Yeah,
but coaches that are prepared.
Yeah.
So coaches from Europe, from South America, to bring, as I say, to bring new. There is no new ideas. It's to bring what we're doing in Europe to here to Australia, and be able to develop that. As you know, football in Australia is not about. It's not just the juniors that are having problems. It's even the Australian national team. When you look at it, who can be the next Dean Cahill?
Yeah.
And how many years since, first Dean Cahill played his first game with the Australian national team?
Yeah.
Has been going into, we see someone that we think, he's going to be our next superstar.
Yeah.
So I think on developing of those players, there's something missing there. I'm not really deep inside into how they are running their football in Australia. What we do is we trying to help players to the training sessions, give the tools, get the contacts, and as well, and help them, to give an opportunity out there, and trying to, bring players to Europe for them to have the opportunity. This is how they work here.
Yeah.
Now, go back to Australia, get into the program, and keep working. So when you come back to Europe, you're at that level or close to that level. And when you're ready to move to Europe for a year or 2 years and do your trials, then you are up in there.
Yeah.
As I say, I think every country in every federation have, their own problems. Like England just played the grand final of the Europeans, and they talking really bad. Some talking a bit bad about the coach, about some of the players, about the system, about why we just picking strong and faster players, and we should be more brain players on the field. So every federation, they're always going to have
an issue.
But they are playing the grand final. So, they do
2 in a row as well, which is good.
Exactly. So they're doing something great.
Yeah.
I think with Australia, we just have be far behind on information of how we should be running the programs. As I say, I don't like talking bad about the Football Federation in Australia. What I will say is that we definitely need more European, South American influence coaches that dedicate their lives to football to be able to help develop the players.
100%. I mean, there's got to be positions out there where we're not talking a lot of money, but maybe $80,000 to $100,000. You employ someone and their job is to go out for a year or two, upskill, learn, professional developments, come back from Europe, come back from South America, and take away the good things and the bad things, because you don't always learn everything good. I remember with us, with the Premier League, I went on a study visit and I was working at PSG in France for Carlo Ancelotti. And I'm there thinking I'm stealing ideas, but also I'm stealing a few things that I've seen that we probably shouldn't do as well. Yeah. And when we collated all this information and all the reforms went through in the Premier League, what we discovered was we had 1,600 pages of data. Some of it we seen that we knew was going to be really good to the game in England, but some of it we were like, oh, we wouldn't do that. And it's like, that's exactly what we've got to do in Australia. But unfortunately, you get a lot of resistance, and it's like, well, you know, the Matildas go really well and the Socceroos don't do too bad. And it's like, yeah, but with all due respect, 80% of those Matildas have been in England and in Europe since they were 13 and 14. Yeah. They finished their development there. I still think there's a window to be developed in Australia, but I think at the moment, unfortunately for boys and girls, around that 13, 14, they've got to start looking at going to Europe or South America or somewhere if they want to make it as a pro. Yeah,
and to be honest, when I look at it, like, you know, when I have been in Spain, I'm going to watch a lot of the games of Real Madrid, Barcelona, the juniors, from the age of 7 to 12, 13, because that's the biggest number of players that we are coaching at the moment in Australia with all the programs we have at some of the soccer clubs and private schools. We work with a lot of kids from the age of 7 to 13, 15. And to be honest, when you look at the level of a lot of the Australian players at the age of 10 and 11, they're not far.
There's no difference.
Compared to the ones in Europe.
No.
But when they get to 14 to 17, it's just those years, that gap, it just go boof.
It's huge.
It's huge. And it's just disappear. Like, it's just like, we were here, okay. And then you get to 13, 14, and then boom, it just... Yeah. It's too big. Okay, so how we can, you know, help those players, and that's what we just mentioned. It's like players at the age of 11, 12, 13, 14. You really want to take your football to the next level. Yeah. You have to go there. We have a couple of players that I was working personally with them since they were 5 years old. I worked with them from the age of 5. One-on-one sessions 3-4 times a week, plus they were playing for my academy, plus they were doing football, plus they were doing futsal, and we have a few in England. One is in Wolves. There's another one that just signed for a club in Spain, so he will be playing in La Liga Juniors. There's another one that he has been living in Spain for 2 years, and this year he just signed for one of the clubs that will play in La Liga Juniors as well. But It was that. They were 11, 12, and their parents came to me and say, Luis, what do we do? And I say, look, if you really want to take it to the next level, you have to go. Yeah. You definitely have to go and find a way if you can stay there or just go, but be on a program that they can keep tracking you when they have good relationship and connections with some of the clubs, so they can keep in contact with you and helping you out. And when you're ready to move there, okay, you already you went there and opened the door for you to go through, you know what I mean?
Go through. So someone who's born in South America, who lives in Australia, loves Australia, what's your advice to mums and dads out there when their kids get to 13, 14 and 15, if they aspire to make it as a pro? Should they stay in Australia? Should they go to South America? Or should they look to go to Europe? What's your belief?
Well, as you know, like... something that I believe is super important is the culture background for players. Yeah, you know, it could be a big, and I have experience in this before, and even you get to see it sometimes with some South American players. They go to Europe and they didn't like it because the culture shock, you know. Yeah. It's a shock. And even big players like Hazard went to Madrid. Yeah. It was superstar in Chelsea and goes there and you see how everything went, you know. Yeah. So, and it goes a lot through that. Of course, we will need to, you know, have a look at the background of that player. If he have some parents that from South America, probably the best option for them, it will be to find a club in South America where they speak the same language, where they feel more like home, and then high-level club, and they can go there and finish to develop, because there are very good soccer clubs in South America as well. Yeah. Europe or Spain, if we're talking Europe, no, but I don't want to go back to South America. Okay, Spain, you speak the same language, is this same pretty much similar idea of how they develop football as well. but definitely, Europe is the way, you know.
Yeah.
And the other thing is we had this conversation the other day, Raymond, is a lot of the parents, unfortunately, there are kids here that are Australian level, super high. But that doesn't mean that that's going to be when they get to Europe to, for example, say, I'm the best player in Queensland.
Yeah.
I can go and trial for Liverpool.
Yeah. No.
Hey, what I was just saying?
Yeah.
5 years plan.
Yeah.
Let's go to Europe, but let's go and start it in a 3rd, 4th division club there.
Yeah.
It could be in England, Spain,
Whatever.
Belgium,
Yeah.
anywhere. But just go there, make a name yourself.
And then work your way through.
And then work your way there.
Yeah.
If in 1 year you got there, fantastic.
Yeah.
But don't go there with the idea that, hey, Ray, I saw you working with Liverpool. Can you take me to Liverpool? So
yeah.
I think definitely Europe, South America, but definitely, with the right advice.
Yeah.
With the right advice.
And the right pathway to follow.
100%.
Amazing. We're going to go to our final ad break, but we're going to be back in a few minutes, but enjoy this next ad.
Hey everyone, we are coming around every major city in Australia over the next 12 months. We have got free objective football testing going on, guys. It's for boys and girls aged 10 all the way through to 18 years of age. The objective testing is quite simple. We'll put you through our 6 tests and then give you your results, physical, technical and tactical. And also, we're going to choose 16 winners to join us on an all expenses paid trip to Europe in 2024 and also 2025. Guys, what have you got to lose? Nothing. It's free to sign up. You get free objective testing and you'll get a free feedback, and maybe you'll be joining me at the Santiago Bernabeu in 2024 or 25.
Hi everyone, this is Raymond Woods. We're back for our final section of this amazing podcast with Luis. Now, Luis, success stories, we touched on it a little bit, and success stories are really important because mums and dads who are watching, who see our programs, they want to see success stories, they want to see testimonials. And I know you've got many, many, many to mention, but is there anyone that really stands out to you as an example, one of the best success stories you've got with players? And it doesn't necessarily have to be someone who's signed for Real Madrid. It might be that just someone's gone and signed for the 3rd division team and wherever. So who's one of your better success stories and someone that you've really enjoyed working with over the years?
Yeah, but we have one of the players I was just mentioning before. I was coaching him since he was 5. Actually, 2 players. I was coaching them since they were 5. And yeah, they did really well, but they were the parents and the kid were 100% commit to what we were doing, the plan. I worked with them for 5-6 years, running private sessions every week, as I say, full-time program, pretty much with us. Not as a program as an individual player.
Yeah.
And as I say, one is playing right now in England, in Wolves. He did amazing. He actually got spotted by one of the Tottenham scouts when they were on a holiday there, and he went to Tottenham, and then Arsenal took him.
Wow.
And then they got into the some of the academies in England. You still need to be careful because the Arsenal academy did look like they were trying to build a team based in 3 players that they thought these 3 players going to make. Now let's create a team, focus on those 3 players, and he was not one of those 3 players. So the parents decided this is not, and they went to Wolves, and he's doing fantastic right now over there, Asaya. You probably met him.
I think I might have met Asaya. So how old is he? 15, 16?
No, he's turning 15.
15.
Turning 15, but they've been there already for 3 or 4 years. 3 years now. And he's doing great. He's playing one of the club on Wolves there. He's doing great at academy.
The Category 1 club in England. So like for mums and dads who don't understand the categories in England, I was part of the project in 2010 and we categorised every academy. 1 being the best, 5 being not the best. And it's all based on facilities, coaches, coaching qualifications, sports science, nutrition. So to be a Cat 1 club is the pinnacle of football in England. And this is the tricky bit. They just assume because like Liverpool are a Premier League team, they've got a Cat 1 academy. It doesn't work like that. So Wolves, as we know, like there or a Cat 1 academy. So that's a phenomenal success story to say that you've worked with a player who's now at a Cat 1 club. Like, that's huge.
Yeah. And the other one is Rom, and his dad is an ex-professional rugby union player.
Yeah.
And he's based on the Gold Coast. I was working with him since the age of 5. And just last year, he asked me, look, Luis, we go on a holiday in Portugal and Spain. We were looking to move to Spain. Can you get us some contacts? And I did organize a few clubs for him to go. And actually, he got offer from 3 clubs. They're moving there next month.
Wow.
They're moving there. He's going to be playing.
It's exciting.
He's going to be playing there. But as I say, it was just, as I say, honestly, they were training, even if it were raining, if it was hot, and they were not missing a training session. They were focused on the program. They were doing all the extras. They were doing the extra work outside, the videos, everything. So, and that's why they are where they are right now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Now, we're nearly finished. Time's running out, and I think what we're going to have to do is, if it's okay with you, we're going to get you back for another episode in the next couple of months, and it'll be really good. But just from you, from Luis, one probably top tip or one bit of advice you would give to any boy or girl or mum and dad out there who are trying to help the son or daughter make it, what's the one top tip you would give them?
Look, Raymond, and this is not related much to football, but I'm telling you, for me to become a professional football player, I was walking 2 hours to get to the training session, get on the bus for an hour, and then doing the same thing back home. So it was 6 hours to get there and back. To go to my training session, when I got my first professional trial, the club told me, look, Luis, we can have you here for 2 weeks, but you're not going to have, we're not giving you accommodation, food, anything. You just need to training twice a day, 9 a.m., 3 p.m. I slept at the park. My blanket, and there's a story there, like people can go into SBS. Just recently, they did an interview and did the story of my life and I went there, got on the bus. I have just the money to get on that bus. Yeah. Soon as I've arrived in there, I asked one of the small restaurants, look, I have no money. I'm doing a trial at the club here, the first division club. If you give me some food, I promise you when I get my contract, I will pay you back. He laughed and he said, look, I cannot give you 3 meals a day, but I'll give you lunch for the time that you're going to be here. Amazing. And that's how I got my professional contract. What I'm saying is, like the other day, one of the kids asked me, Luis, I want to start training with you. He lives at Ipswich. And I said, okay, I'll see you tomorrow, 7 a.m., Kangaroo Point. I have my gym. We're going to do, first thing we're going to do is a gym session to do some tests, stuff like that. Oh, but I have to wait for my mom to check, see if my mom can take me.
Yeah.
Man, he's 16, 17 years old. Man, just get on the train, get a bus. Yeah. So, man, honestly, I'll buy a bicycle. If it was me at that time, I would walk from Ipswich here to have an opportunity to training with someone like me, because I feel myself super special, but because the knowledge I have, I play professional, I got my license. And I think probably that's the biggest advice is like for parents is help, but they need to do the work. Yeah. And for the players, man, you have to sacrifice so much if you really want to make it. Yeah. Simple as that.
Yeah. It is. And it's funny, like we get people coming in our room and they'll come to our events and they'll get a scholarship and they'll come on the programme, and then 4 months later we've had parents mailing us and saying, it's a rubbish program. And I'll go, okay, whoa, wait there, let's have a look. So we have a look. Okay, your son or daughter hasn't had the GPS tracker on. They haven't recorded any sessions. You haven't recorded your intolerance test for your DNA. You haven't done your match analysis. Why is that? You're not putting any of your results into the system. So it's like, do you really want to make it as a pro? Do you really want to help your son and daughter make it as a professional football player? And that's the problem. It's instilling that mindset. So when you think you're helping a boy or girl, are you really helping them by running them everywhere? Yeah. And I think we've got to get a little bit tougher with this generation. Yeah. And I think I'm guilty of it. I've got 2 daughters, and every day I have to try and just pull it back a little bit and remind myself that I used to get free buses to school. Yeah. We used to get bullied and picked on every bus journey on the way to school from bigger boys. Like, it was tough growing up.
Yeah.
And I think they get a little bit mollycoddles a little bit too much. So a big thank you, Luis. Now, before we do finish off, if anyone wants to reach out to you or have a look at your amazing program and coaching, how can they find you? Is it online or?
Yeah, on our website, Ruiz Football Academy. I have a present for you to give to the people that follow you. So
amazing. So
I can give it to you as well.
We'll put in the show notes your website, and if it's okay, we'll put up maybe your social media handle.
Fantastic.
And what's the giveaway that we've got to give them? Do you want to tell us what it is?
Yeah, we have a jacket. So we have one of the Ruiz Football Academy jackets.
Amazing.
I'll give it to you. You can give it to.
So maybe what we might do is everyone who's watching this, if you put a comment in and maybe the best bit of advice that you take away from Luis in this podcast, and if you put it in the comments and in the section and subscribe, and we'll pick out one of the winners in the next couple of weeks, and you'll win that jacket off Luis.
Fantastic.
Thanks for joining us, Luis, and we'll see you again.
Thank you.